Hello, we're here with Craig Wyvill, former director of the Georgia Tech Research Institute Food Processing Technology Division, and we're at the National Safety Conference for the poultry industry at Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Craig, you just made a presentation where you describe some ideas about how the industry doesn't get the credit it deserves when it comes to what has been achieved in safety, especially ergonomics. How does the poultry industry compare with the general industry and the red meat industry in particular?
Well, the poultry industry has done a tremendous job over the last 25 years in bringing injury rates down and illness rates down. And they've done it through a series of interventions and training programs, and have, I think, done a tremendous job in lowering or continuing to lower the rate that they had back in the mid-'80s. In doing so, they have managed to bring their numbers down more in line with general manufacturing, which I think is a tremendous accomplishment. It has resulted in over an 80% or 88% reduction in the illness rates, and it has resulted in over I think it's a 48% rate or 44% rate in terms of the injury rates.
How was that progress accomplished by the poultry industry?
Well, it was actually a combination of activities. The first thing the industry had to do when it came to ergonomics was to understand the forces that were causing the problem. And that meant understanding not only the causes of the injuries, but also the ways in which they were intervening that may be aggravating or not enhancing the potential for injury. So they went at it with a three-prong approach. One was to really approach the medical side, work with the medical community, and to really kind of get the medical community on a similar page in terms of addressing injury, cumulative trauma injury rates. They then had a focus on workstation design and how to improve the design of the stations and to reduce the risks of overexertion. And then the third was in training. They did a tremendous job in terms of training their employees and making them more aware and understanding of risk factors.
You've identified some special safety challenges facing the industry today. One is third shift sanitation and maintenance safety, and another is fleet safety. How are these of special importance, and what can be done about them?
Well, certainly third shift sanitation and maintenance is one of those areas that the plant operates differently than it does during a normal shift. And all the emphasis has been on traditional shift operations. But when you're working in a cleanup phase and you're trying to repair and maintain machines, you now have a situation where the dynamics change. And what the industry is having to do is to address those special needs where a cleaning operator maybe has to use a ladder, and that's considered maybe a little riskier than if he were on a permanent work platform doing some of the cleaning. The same true with the maintenance crews, where they have to be aware that in the areas where they're working, there may be cleaning crews, and there may be some interaction where one could be of risk to the other and creating injury. And I think what the industry is doing there is they're broadening the understanding of the special conditions that exist in those situations and trying to increase awareness of consistent safety programs that minimize those risks as they relate to those special periods of time in an operation. As far as fleet safety goes, what we've learned is that traditional trucker safety, which applies to the semi industry, doesn't always apply to the fleets that are operating for the industry. A lot of the trucks for the industry have higher centers of gravity because of the loads they're carrying, and these present special turnover risks. So the result has been a broader awareness is being made, a video has been produced by U.S. Poultry and Egg, and there is more training emphasis now being given to drivers on awareness of movements in those trailers at certain speeds or on certain turns and roads, so that we minimize and eliminate some of the turnover risks that have been occurring.
Well, in your speech today, you also mentioned some new technologies in play in the industry, including robotics. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. This industry never sits still, and that's one of the things that always amazes me. There's always some new technology on the forefront or on the horizon, and right now we're seeing robotics about to emerge in a big way, I think, in the industry. And what's good about that is that we probably tapped the maximum ability of fixed automation to perform a lot of functions, and that may be why we have such a mixture of manual and automated steps in a lot of processes. But with robotics, we're going to be introducing a much more flexible automated system, which I think will broaden the ability to automate a lot of the manual steps that are currently being done today. So that should be a help in terms of maybe further reducing some of the continuing injury risks that exist here. On the flip side, it's a new technology, and it's going to introduce some of its own risks. And that's, I think, the next big challenge for the industry, is dealing with energized systems that can perform outside of the work activity that you have them programmed for, because they can operate in a range of these programs. So you have to be a little more careful, and they have to be dealt with a little more carefully.
Well, the industry faces a challenge with a new OSHA focus on enforcement. How can the industry meet that challenge when so much of the progress in the past 20 years has been made cooperatively through alliances and other cooperative programs?
It's a concern. I think everyone associated with this industry is a little concerned about the new view from OSHA that enforcement and heavy-handed enforcement is the way to get the attention of the industry. I think the industry's worked very progressively with OSHA and has worked very hard on trying to bring numbers down, and obviously the reductions are dramatic. So I am a little concerned, and I think anyone would tell you that that may have an impact on the openness between industry and OSHA. It may also bring into question some of the numbers that we have been able to show for the advances that the industry has accomplished. So I'm hopeful that there will be some balance in this. I'm hopeful that OSHA will recognize that while, yes, stepped up enforcement is probably a good thing, just not to go too far to where you're actually showing no trust in the industry, because I think the industry has done a tremendous job. And conversely, I think the industry and the folks I've spoken to are hopeful that they can maintain that trust with OSHA and they can continue this collaboration. But it definitely will change. The dynamics are going to change from what they've been the last, say, 4 to 8 years.
Well, Craig, your role is changing in the industry. For many years, you've been the driving force behind the safety conference here, and you received an award today, a recognition of that contribution. And what are you going to be doing with your time here in retirement?
Well, this is something I think every one of us looks forward to, and as I said in my retirement party, I said, I dreaded the decision, but I also look forward to it for the exciting things that I can do differently. But my goal is, I think, to stay connected with the industry, and I'm sure I'll continue to find ways to interact with the folks at Georgia Tech and the programs that I was so much a part of, and hopefully with NCC and NTF. But I'm also looking forward to a little bit of a shift and an opportunity to do some different things, new routines. So.
Well, congratulations on your fine career and your many contributions in the safety area and other ergonomic and engineering areas. And just thank you for talking with us here today.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it very much. Thank you.